Um, it's titled A Free Adaptation of Christopher Marlowe's translation of Ovid's Amores 1.1, and that's Ovid's first poem, and probably Marlowe's first poem as well. And the subtitle is Poet and Cupid Disagree About Form and Subject in Verse. And I'm doing a number of poems that are debate poems. And apropos your studies, Peter, I believe The Owl and the Pussycat is being given a new version by our poet laureate. So that was the first great debate poem in English. So I'm trying to hope to tap in on this kind of debate tradition. But Ovid in his first poem had a sort of debate, although Cupid only had one line and the poet had many more lines. But in my poem, I'm giving Cupid quite a few lines. So it's basically the poet's argument and then Cupid's argument. So poet enters chat. With muse prepared, I meant to sing of arms and chose a subject fit for fierce alarms. All lines alike till you conspired to take away a foot from all my trailing legs, a beat from every other line, a stress from all the second rows. How could you, Cupid, rate my verse? I am the muse's voice, not yours. Aside. To weaken warlike readiness, to make a coupling bed for pairs, becoming limp a lame excuse, yet metamorphosis depends on change, a caterpillar stunted, but with butterfly intentions, finding wings amongst the gods. Shall I transform like this or not, to take another's precious role, both dangerous and ludicrous? Returns to chat. Should Venus capture Diana's bow, the latter run when lovers' parts begin to grow? In woods could Ceres reign and quiver bearing Dian till the plain? Who'll set the fair tressed sun in eager battle ray, if Mars will take a harp to play? Great are your kingdoms, over strong and large, ambitious imp, why seek another charge? Are all things thine, the muse's temple vine? Then scarce can Phoebus say, the harp is mine. When in this work's first verse I trod aloft, you slaked my muse and made my numbers soft. I have no mistress nor no favourite, am fit as matter for a wanton wit. Cupid, aside. Thus he complained, but soon I found a quiver, took a shaft, ordained his heart to shiver, bent a bow upon my knee and asked him, enters chat, O would-be poet of the mighty battles, God of proud hexameter, examine now your lack of wit and productivity and tell me if you've chosen well in verse. I know you think or thought your 6-beat lines were right, that marching epic was your métier, but wait a second, ponder my intriguing intervention, ask yourself, ignore the bow and arrow there, not aiming at intimidation, just in need of daily cleaning. If my alterations work, if what you've done till now is not a trifle boring, my amendments making verses more exciting, think a while, a full half-minute, then decide. Aside again. And when, like Hamlet, he cannot decide, it will provide a prompt. Democracy is not my suit, and from this quiver full of leading points I have selected one, bespoke for him, persuasive in its argument, projection. When it flies and hits and penetrates, the potion in its tip will take his marching army thoughts, translate them into peace and love, although society will regulate, condemn, distort the freedoms that he'll inculcate. Indoctrinated, he won't mind and carry on, and even exile won't distract. And when he's gone, the work goes on, distorted, banned, translated, shunned, discovered once again, dissected, celebrated. All this due to my divine disruption of intended order. Once for war with me, he found a greater battle, instigated greater order. Pause. And I was right, he hesitated, so I shot. I never shoot but hit, he burns, love in an idle bosom sits. Let his first verse be 6, the next 5 feet. Farewell, stern war, will make a poet penetrated, limping, blunted, so besotted in a syncopated beat. And now this verse, once lame, is free, At first its gait became a stride, with Marlowe's mighty 5-beat lines, and then with Dryden Moore a stroll, and many others since have tried to walk in shadows. Here we find another Evatt, more in keeping with their skipping rhythm borrowed.
Lovely dialogue there. I love it. It kind of flows along, doesn't it? You kept us engrossed there, Steve. Well done. Beautiful. Have you got another one, or are you gonna?
No, that'll do.
All right. Can I remind everyone? I know it's difficult, but just press the mute button, because every little movement is often picked up through the mics. So it does help the poetry reading to press your mute button. It's not always easy to remember. Welcome, Ruth.
Hello. Sorry, I'm late.
No, it's all right. We're still waiting for Jack, actually. I don't know if he's going to show up or not. Can't imagine he's turned into an England soccer fan, but you never know. But,
Stranger things have happened.
well, yes, yeah. Okay, well, it's Mr. Juna now. Steve, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. This one's called Cross Country. Running for the school, I was the leading man. I ran with grit, stamina, and pace. Competing against other schools meant a test of running ability. Running through modern farmland, I tried to keep up with the top 4. I had already run for the school on 4 occasions and came second 4 times. I needed to be in the top 2 again to secure a medal. It was thumping and hard. I managed to get myself in second place, and with great difficulty, I secured this grand position to be second again. This was called cooking. From the age of 10, I've learned to cook, having to fend for myself. My favorite dish was taught to me by a lady in the house I used to live with, whom I called Auntie. She taught me how to cook West Indian casserole. It was such a great joy learning to cook this. I had to put the meat, beef or trilling beef, into a half-full pot of water and let the meat boil for about an hour before it softens. Then Auntie would show me what to apply, like chocho, a West Indian vegetable, carrots, onions, tomato. I would have to make dumplings, which took me a long time to master. Also potatoes, yam, another West Indian vegetable, a touch of salt, thyme, a little butter, cock soup to give it taste, and black pepper. Stir it up and let it boil for about 30 minutes till it simmers down. A perfect and beautiful dish. Thank you.
You realise you've made us all hungry now, Steve?
Sorry.
Yeah, you have. I had a curry about an hour ago and it's making me hungry again.
Yes, sounds delicious. Oh, well. Yeah, I like the way you bring your life experiences into your poetry,
Yeah.
Steve. That's
Yeah,
very good.
I do.
Yeah. Can we all remember to mute, please, if we're not reading?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome, Steve. Take care, and you're around second half, I hope. Are you? Or are you watching football?
I don't know where he's gone.
No, he's gone. No, he's gone. He's muting. Maybe. Mohammed, I'm going to move over to Mohammed now. Mohammed, can we all sing happy birthday with you, please? Is that allowed? Are you going to conduct us?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Then,
yes,
you're in charge. You're the... Ready?
Okay, so. Happy birthday to
you. Happy
birthday
to you.
Happy birthday, dear
Mohammed.
Happy birthday to
you.
very much.
Hey!
I told you we sound like a drunken crowd, honestly.
It wasn't too bad, actually. I thought it was quite... I think I was following Mohammed's, hello, it's all gone quiet. Right. Okay, so if we could all mute up and let Mohammed have the stage now, that'd be good.
I'm dancing in the June days, dancing in the June nights, Bengal roses blooming and orange sunset delights. I'm dancing to my drum beats, dancing, walking in the streets. I'm happy for the 23rd, a time to meet and greet. Happy for the 23rd, June of pleasant birth. Happy for the morning sun, giving life to earth. My steps are fine and tapping, roses red and white. It's always at the 23rd, a lucky moon at night. Happy for the 23rd, happy for the 23rd. Thank you. As a slave, birthday poem. It is a source of pleasure to me that I'm a slave to my master, Allah, who has all authority on anything I do or say. I earn, but only for my master's true pleasures, that he is all in all, is cardinal truth. And my zakah goes towards the freedom of modern slaves. It is good to be a slave when the master is cosmos beating and better than all conceivable fabricated deities. For my Allah, who has graced my birthdays with blessings, I pick and choose the choicest praise and eat my cake plus keep it. Finally, thank you, gift from Boris. For you, Muhammad, I have a gift. This will you uplift, not push from lift. Special for you, like from Whitgift. No Captain Hindsight rift. Listen, to be not miffed. Here is your gift. Please donate £10 to the Tory party. And will you feel hearty? We need your help to build up Tory life with things like waste, sleaze, and 535. Wink, wink. Thank you.
It's probably better than the gift from Dominic.
I'm
could be
so
a
partial
poisoned
to
chalice or a
any,
knife in the
any
back.
further gifts from Dominic. Dominic can give the gifts. And then if people are convinced and I'm convinced, then we can go ahead and be with Dominic more than anyone else.
Thank you, Mohammed. As usual, you bring a smile to
You're
our
welcome.
faces, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Ruth, good evening. Have you any lovely poems?
Hello. Yes, I have one or two, well,
Very
poems.
good.
Right, the first one is called Why We Left Elko, and Elko's a place in Nevada. Why we left Elko. Giant insects hop along the sidewalk. The street fills with their squashed remains. And the living feast on the dead. Massed on the highway, they crackle beneath our tires. On a slick of juice, vehicles skid and go adrift. Swept into our wheel arches, the car fills with their stench. At the next town and the next, we queue for the car wash, trying to shift what is left of carapace and limb, while a brown liquid escapes. And close to the airport, something that's more than travel wafts from the car we're handing back. Mormon crickets dried to a crust. Yes, they're quite horrible insects. And the next one's called Prospects. At least I'll miss climate change, she said. And we think of the heavy weather that lies ahead, how things have gone awry. But she's ordered turfs for the wildflower garden she always planned, and cycles, rain or shine, to her appointments, enjoying the spring. Now that her hair is scant, she wears bright turbans, an array of hats. At least she'll miss climate change, extremes of rain, ice melt, insupportable decades of heat. And she's making the most of it, sending photos of Florence to my phone. Then a wilder scene, her standing proud, so glad to be here on the summit of Ben Hope. And the last one is called Turnip. Turnip. It is a thing of winter, cool to the touch, exuding a fresh root smell. Raw, it is peppery to the tongue. Serve with a light honey glaze. It is navet, gill feather, white lady, white globe, de Milan rouge. Young and sweet, a gobbet of creamy flesh, it bobs in a casserole. The addition of bay leaf, cream with a sprig of dill lifts it out of its sphere. And here's to the chef who sautés it gently with capsicums and mange too. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautifully descriptive, Ruth. Lovely, lovely poetry. Wonderful. Thank you. Where we are, Vivian. Good evening, Vivian.
Good evening. Good evening. Okay, I've got 2 poems I wrote for the Croydon Library poetry group. These are ones I've read before, or the first one is certainly, the second one is yet to be aired, but I'll test it on you anyway. The first one was called, the subject was mountains, and I've called it Ups and Downs. There are mountains to climb and hills to scale. We climb them because they are there, for the view, for the achievement. Big steps and little ones take us to the top, resting on the way with coffee, sandwiches and cake to sustain us. Up, up and up we go, towards the sky, towards the heavens, which we never reach, yet still we climb onwards, upwards till we get to the top. Our goal reached, we look around and take in the view before descending to the real world again. Okay, and the other one I've got is one I've yet to air, and the subject is titles, and I just called it Titled ? Prince and Princess, Duke and Duchess, Lord and Lady, Earl or Chief, and what about Queen or Reverend, Yeoman, Archdeacon or a Sharif? Or maybe an emperor, sir or countess, police commissioner or a dame, grand admiral, mayor or president, sheikh or sultan, it's all in the name. But I am content just being a Mrs. No high and mighty titles for me. I don't need a moniker to make me happy. All I require is cake and tea.
All human life is there, Vivian.
Oh yes, yeah. I should actually explain. Sharif is another word for sheriff, but it worked with the poem better. So you probably knew that anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I didn't think it was Omar Sharif, but you never know who you come across. But that first poem, it reminded me of the old saying, you know, be nice to people when you're on the way up, because you might need their help when you're on your way down.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sue, good evening, Sue.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi. I've got 3 shortish poems, if that's okay. Well, I've just been away for a few days to a lockkeeper's cottage on the canal near Worcester, and I wrote this poem, which just came out of looking at things, and it's called Altered. Midsummer warm, but later it may rain. The air is heavy with its threat, and something in me wants to see this easy, shallow water stirred up, altered, fraught. These days I am so lost, but somehow also found. Here are wildflowers for you, towpath buttercups and ox eyes, all alive and brimming with intent. Your careful, cultivated life, what would it take to wild you? And this is the next one. It's called Path, just about life, really. Spring opens up our path, a time of mornings, pink and white magnolias, fallen petals bruising in the sun. By afternoon, green summer grows us, sets us out on different roads, confident we don't look back. One day in autumn, daylight fading, we will meet beneath the ginkgo, picking up our scattered gold. Cold winter waits to probe us, bides its time. But until then, we'll share the road. There are some words still left to say. And the last one I'm going to read is, thank you, is I went to a poetry workshop, and it was to do with the On Form exhibition at Astor Manor, which is a sculpture exhibition, which is in the grounds of Astor Manor. And it was so lovely to be out with like-minded poets and talk to them. And I almost couldn't talk to them because I was overwhelmed, really. It was amazing because it's the first time I'd been out to something like this since the lockdown. Anyway, we talked about sculpture, and I wrote this poem, and it's called Holistic. Sculptors seek inside for something they were born to find. Within each stone, compressed and sealed, an elemental beauty is encoded in its core, intrinsic to its worth as strength and hardness is. The sculptor's answering strength will lift this beauty out, uncover weakness, polish to a gloss. The beauty of the stone and of the sculptor's heart, there is no division. Thank you.
That last one was spectacular. They're all good.
Yeah.
I love that last one.
It's so lovely to be out and doing normal stuff
Yeah,
again.
there's a
Yeah.
joy of discovery there, isn't there?
Was wonderful.
Discovery of what's inside the stone and discovery of being with
Yeah.
people.
Lovely. Yeah, thank you.
Mm. It was it's quite funny. There's this website called Near Wandle Park, and this woman had written in complaining that the council weren't cutting the grass in the park and it was getting wild. And she was saying, I can't get my pushchair across the grass. And I thought, well, there are paths, you know. And I did point out they might have choices between helping vulnerable people and letting the grass grow a bit and let the insects and the seeds for the birds be there. You know, and it's amazing that people's values, really. It's all got to be pristine and neat and cut down to suit them. Sorry, but I don't agree with her, but there we go. Now that's my rant for the minute. Jack's not here, so Peter, you're on, Peter.
Well, I've got a poem from Joe Sanders called June in Flames. My solar flowers in their 5th floor window boxes have breathed in the sun all day and wait now for the dark, so they can dazzle and delight me, bedraggled from the effort to stay alive in the heat. I've never probed what happens when I go to bed, but tonight in a wakeful moment, I surprised them at 3 a.m, still shining, spinning together in a dance, a kaleidoscope of colours, beaming from petal to petal. My sad orchid was asleep and didn't join in, white roots raised in protest or supplication as its leaves droop and drop, hoping still for buds and flowers. The piano smiles its big white smile and stops vibrating, fresh from hammering out spectacular and sensuous solar harmonies. Meanwhile, the moonlight white fridge gently hums a tune to itself. That's Joe Sanders. And one from Gordon Thompson. Sad when old friends part, of their futures who can say? Apart, joined again, time and tide roll on. World is as it used to be. Que sera, sera. And I think can I read one from an E.J. Scavell?
Please, Peter, yeah.
I had it nicely marked. but now it's gone. There are. A short night. She is in the garden, weeding almost in darkness. Indoors, we say it is quite dark. Fetch her in. Soon now the hedges will be filled with mist at daybreak in the bird's hour. Get her to come. Call your wife, our hostess, home. So she comes in, tranquil, grubby, and vague with gardening, bringing the scent of stock through the door, bringing her unbelief in time with the frailty of the phantasmal summer night, and makes us tea and puts the tray on the floor, and the talk flourishes more than before.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Lovely words, Peter.
Yes. One more from E.J. Scoville, Power Cut.
Okay.
Without a word, the light dropped, and the radio voice fell sheer to silence. So by fires and torches light, and curtains opened on unnatural natural light, clouded and starry. On the top shelf, another year's dusty candle I have found and lit, and there it burns, I wish forever, making within its range an unassertive harmony, yet sightly strange, subtle and mild and strange, with the dark and the fire. No light to read by, nor extrinsic voice. We can talk or dream in silence like the fire, like the flowers in the candle's web, like the very old. I think of powers failing, my generation aging, dying, gone, and think those happy who have candlelight and coals to modify and charm the dark when the power fails.
Lovely.
Very nice. Yeah. That's when I remember days when we used to keep candles handy for power cuts. You don't seem to get many power cuts these days, do we?
No.
Not sure why. This is a poem I wrote yesterday, and it's not typed up yet, so forgive me if I struggle a little bit. It's called Camden. He walked under many London lime trees, carried his poems in every step, each drawn up in such delicate reference to love that no one could query where the source lay, any more than from which patch of loam the gentle Thames stirred. I just know I will be wary of saying where love starts or ends, in streams, under trees, or elsewhere. That's that one. And then I always going to bore people this time of year with the Wandle Park poem because I love it. Right, modest about my Wandle Park poem. It's the only poem I'm not modest about. The Ballad of Wandle Park. Let's hear it for the flowers and the bees and the birds and the trees, the grass that's underneath and the heather on the heath. Let's hear it for the flies and the worms, for the seagulls and the terns, the slugs and the snails and all their glassy trails. Let's hear it for the foxes ghosting by and the swallows flying high, for the lichen on the urn and the thistle and the fern. Let's hear it for the toads and the frogs and the newts down by the logs, the bushes in their leaf and all the life beneath. Let's hear it for the moles in their mound and the rabbits underground, for the badgers in their sets, the mice, the voles, the ferrets. Let's hear it even for the cabbage white and the moths that fly at night, the damsels and the dragonflies and the bats up in the skies. Let's hear it for the pipit, lark and owl and all the fish and fowl, and for the milfoil, sedge and frond and the lilies in the pond. Can we hear it for every living thing that can squeak or squeal or sing, for the stone, the sand, the clay, the frost at night, the sun of day? Here's a praise to every footpath, each park and every stream. May the willows go on weeping, may we save this urban dream. Boom, boom, there we are. Right. That's it, folks, for the half time.
Thank you, George. Really lovely. Really nice.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
one, George.
Sorry? Oh, so we're losing one or two, aren't we, for half time, are we?
Yeah,
I'm going.
I'm going to go,
Okay.
but I loved your poems. Thank you. Nice to see you all.
Yeah.
See you next
Yeah, bye-bye, Sue.
Take care.
Yeah,
See you on the,
yeah,
hopefully see you
likewise,
on the
I'm-
first Friday.
See you soon.
See you, Steve.
Okay,
Mr.
bye.
Watson.
I'm off as
And
well.
Vivian.
Bye.
Bye.
Right. So it's we few, we precious few, we band of brothers and sister. With you, okay, can we start off with Steve, please?
Juna.
He's still there?
Yes.
I'm still here. I'm here. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. This one's called Radio. Over the years, when young, living on my own, at night the radio sound booming out at me was my advocated company. Coming in from church at Sunday night, I would listen to jazz on Radio 1 with Humphrey Littleton. I was an influenced jazz fan because of my best friend, who everything he did was jazz. When I retired to bed, I would be listening to the likes of Duke Ellington, Sonny Rollins, and Lionel Hampton, who was incredible on the xylophone. I suppose listening to jazz helped me notice these jazz greats. And this one's called Bus. In the Midlands, I travel on many buses, especially when I used to go to church every Sunday from West Bromwich to Bilston on the number 79. Would take us there. I would go there. It was about a 5 miles journey. I used to go with a family called the Ellises every Sunday morning and travel to Bilston. Bilston was a nice little town. All my best friend lived in that area. When church finished in the evening, we would wait at the bus stop to take us back to West Bromwich. These years were fulfilling and joyous. I used to look forward to going to church to Bilston every Sunday. Thank you, George. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for those lovely memories. I mean, are you happier in London than you were in the Midlands, or which you'd prefer?
I must admit, I prefer London. I really prefer London, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
there's so much things to the interest. Yeah, definitely, most definitely. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Steve. Anyway, and can we move on to Mohammed? Mohammed, have you?
Yes. So we're sort of in the birthday zone because it's Paul McCartney's birthday today. You say it's your birthday. It's my birthday too, yeah. They say it's your birthday. We're gonna have a good time. I'm glad it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Yes, we're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party. I would like you to dance. Birthday, take a chance. Birthday, I would like you to dance. Birthday, dance. You say it's your birthday. Well, it's my birthday too, yeah. You say it's your birthday. We're gonna have a good time. I'm glad it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Right. Thank you. And a poem by Paul McCartney. Hello, how are you? I'm Jerk of all jerks. I'm a motorist that quite likes a drink when he drives, who causes the loss of innocent lives. I'm the guy with the pistol who kills your best friend. You can't really blame me because I'm round the bend. Hello, how are you? I'm Jerk of all jerks. I'm here to undo all your charitable works. I do it quite simply by making mistakes. And one little boo-boo is all that it takes, and you're at the mercy of Jerk of all jerks. I'm the man that disposes of nuclear waste. There's no need to worry, it's perfectly safe. In fact, there is now every reason to hope that if anything happens, I'll easily cope. Hello, how are you? I'm jerk of all jerks. I'm the leader who says, as he wages his war, that the children are not ones that he's aiming for. Hello, how are you? I'm jerk of all jerks. Thank you. And in response or inspired by that, hello, Paul, goodbye, jerks. Paul is never the jerk, never a hater. Used, but he doesn't use. That's no understater. He's all innocence, like an always flower. No reason to blame him, be a blame thrower. His little boo-boos are fine, perfectly safe. He stops the wars and all that strays. He's never the jerk. All is all hello. It's only the real jerks that spoil the show. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mohammed. I didn't realise that Paul McCartney had such a sharp social conscience or wits. I was watching Ronaldo, the football player, and the way he took those Coca-Cola bottles off the shelf out the way because he didn't, you know, he thought he was giving a bad message. And I respect people who do that kind of stuff, who take those gestures. You know,
Looking out for people's health. And the environment and all of those important things.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Mohammed. And we've got Ruth
You're
now.
welcome.
Okay, Ruth.
Right, I'm just going to read one, which is quite long and follows on from Mohammed in a way, because it's called The Year of My Birth. And it won't take you long to guess what that year was. The year of my birth. January, unsettled. Superman appears in a daily comic strip. Bradman scores his 4th consecutive century. Barcelona falls. Most of the animals in the zoo die of wounds or starvation. February, mixed. Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck race one another to Treasure Island. A ghost word appears in Webster's New International Dictionary, dawd. The first Anderson shelter appears in an Islington garden. March, a hillbilly month. Massachusetts is 147 years late signing the Bill of Rights. The first issue of Glamour magazine with Anne Sheridan on the cover. Germany occupies Czechoslovakia. April, month of strange fruit. The Grapes of Wrath is published. Connecticut is 148 years late signing the Bill of Rights again. Boston Bruins beat Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1. Membership of Hitler Youth becomes obligatory. May, spring in spite of everything. Batman comics hit the street. Lena Medina of Peru becomes the world's youngest mother at the age of 5. Hitler and Benito Mussolini sign the Pact of Steel. June, cool and dry. Barney the bear, sleepy-eyed, gets no sleep. Last public guillotining in France. In America, Queen Elizabeth is given a hot dog. She asks President Franklin Roosevelt, "How do you eat it?" Then uses a knife and fork. 907 Jewish refugees turned away from Corfu. July, strawberries and cream. Plenty of shoulder. Martha Barnett wears a striking tennis dress. Auckland has its first recorded snowflake. The Women's Land Army is reformed in order to grow more food. August, month of foreboding. Judy Garland stars in The Wizard of Oz. The Munchkins are drunk most of the time, and the Tin Man is poisoned by his makeup. But the film succeeds. Eastern Europe is divided between Hitler and Stalin. September, warm and sunny. Last day of first-class cricket in England for 6 years. Germany invades Poland. Britain declares war on Germany. South Africa declares war on Germany. Canada declares war on Germany. Iraq and Saudi Arabia declare war on Germany. US men's tennis, Robert L. Riggs beats S. Welby Van Horn. October, it depends where you are. Sugar is rationed in the Netherlands. For the first time, nylon stockings go on sale. Bird baths are installed in Union Square. Last Polish troops surrender. November, passionate intensity. Failed assassination of Hitler in Munich. Nazis begin mass murder of Warsaw Jews. December, Gone with the Wind. Bradman scores 38 fours and 2 sixes. Russian air raid on Helsinki. Himmler begins deportation of Polish Jews. The Christmas film, Peace on Earth, is released by MGM. So there you go.
Wow, well done, Ruth. Well done. You're looking very well on it, I have to say. You must be like Dorian Gray and have your portrait up in the loft somewhere.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah. Ah, well, it's lovely. I like. It's quite subtle, and the way you've related all those, some good things, some bad things, and tragedy running through it underneath all the lightness, you know,
Yeah.
and the kind of impending build up to doom,
Mm.
as well as your birthday. Right, Peter, do you have anything?
With a couple of poems by Ros Goddard, who wrote a book called How to Dismantle a Hotel Room. Guerrilla gardening. Late August, a chap from the council comes in his hard hat and visor, wielding a strimmer like an instrument of war. He starts at the far end by the car park, hoovering the heads off Welsh poppies, geraniums, taking out the creeping buttercup. They come in on the wind by the back door, seeds hid in the soft flesh of a bird's mouth before finding stony ground to settle. After dark, we go down there with our trowels and creaking trays of cornflowers. In the fist of a torch beam, we shift funnels of soil and stone, drop damp palmfuls into the ground. This August, we expect a long wave of pale blue as far as the eye can see, lapping at his feet as he jumps from his Land Rover. He will walk along, visor up, strimmer like a dead arm at his side, wondering what is to be done. And The Woman Who Tasted Rain. I wonder where that woman is now, the one I saw all those years ago leaning from her first floor window, pale arms outstretched, tongue tasting the rain's metal. I was a girl in the back of a Humber, travelling to Devon in the middle of a storm, my mother in front, brimming with fear, father a breath away from anger. I watched the woman from below as the drains gave up their leaves and notes. The smell of earth and salt filled the car. She smiled into the drama, seemed to welcome the weather in. Her room stretched away into an interior bathed in orange light. I imagined tangerine peel on the arm of a sofa. The Humber inched away, and I wondered if she might adopt me if I asked. The woman who enjoyed heavy weather. We could sit across from each other at the big table, talk about the strange taste of rain.
Yeah, love that.
So it's a poem with petrichor in it.
Yes, I was thinking that as you well done. I think you scored with petrichor there, didn't you? Yeah. I'm going to read one of mine, and I'll read the W.H. Auden poem, and then you'll see how awful mine is. W.H. Auden, I think what I understand, he wrote a play with Christopher Isherwood, and the subject was the play was two brothers who were very competitive with each other, and they climbed a mountain together, and one of the brothers died, and the other brother never forgave himself. And this poem was part of that play. So here it goes. Funeral Blues.
No.
Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone, silence the pianos with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. Let aeroplanes circle moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message, he is dead. Put crape bows around the white necks of the public doves. Let the traffic policeman wear black cotton gloves. He was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my moon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good. It's sad.
Yeah, fantastic poem.
It is an amazing poem. And this is one of mine, Checkpoint Charlie. This was based on a visit I made to Berlin.
Okay.
Dust blew down the Unter den Linden. Shadows stole the sunrise, arriving overnight to stay like an unwelcome guest. So many wishes abandoned, with no Moses to lead them to the promised land, only a resting place in that space on the sand between the watchtowers and the concrete curtain, where the only colour flows crimson. Now sparrows, 3 decades on, dance around the tourist's feet, jostling for crumbs. So there we go.
Yeah.
We've had a short but happy evening, I think. Yes.